What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show. I am the host of Epic Conversations, and this is the place for Epic Conversations. I am the 2018 Innovation Award winner from, I don't know which one it is, from or by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. And as always, blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles and a solution for someone's problem. And I'm already going to shout out some people who are already in the room. We have Patricia from Durham, North Carolina, otherwise known as Durham Skyrider, and J-Mog are here already. So thank you so much for taking time out of your positive, productive schedule to drop on in. We have another new friend here tonight. Her name is Trudy Stone. And you know what? Before we even get to Trudy, we have to make a big thank you. We have to thank Fenella Bruce, FKB Media. A long time. I've known Fenella for a long time, and she's excellent in PR promotion. And she introduced me to this young lady, and she is now here. Her name is Trudy Stone. She's a certified culinary nutritionist, speaker, and founder of Eat, Live, and Play. She's also the author of the book Unbreakable: 7 Rock-Solid Habits to Perfect Your Weight and a Healthier Lifestyle. No willpower required. So a little history on her. Miss Trudy, 5 years ago, self-hacked. I like that. Self-hacked her own mind and body.
Oh, I certainly did, and it wasn't easy.
Lose 30 pounds and now helps other women do the same. She's passionate about empowering women to build healthier habits and unlock the power of food to build a strong and vibrant brain and body without guilt or restriction. She's appeared in the Huffington Post, National Post, Daytime Toronto TV, and the star of the show, along TV chef, author, and judge of Chopped Canada, Chef Michael Smith. She's going to be sharing with us tonight about 5 reasons why you're not losing weight. And what better time than right now? Most people have come back from their holiday season and they ate too much. They probably drank too much. They just done over. So Trudy tonight's going to show us and tell us how to sort of pull it back in and make it manageable and achieve those weight goals. So welcome to for the first time and not the last time on the Dr. Vibe Show, Trudy Stone. How are you?
I'm amazing, Dr. Vibe. Thank you so much for having me here. I've really been looking forward to having this conversation with you and your audience, and I'm pumped.
Excellent. Well, we are blessed, highly favored to have you, and we'll have you for a little while. And we got like the high level, starry bio, but let's take it back. Let's learn a little bit more of Trudy. Where did you grow up, schooling, etc.?
Yeah, sure. So I grew up in Toronto, Canada. I grew up in a suburb called Scarborough, which is east side.
I live in Scarborough and still live in Scarborough for many years.
Oh, do you? Are you allowed to say what part of Scarborough you live in?
Let's just say Warden and 401.
Okay, so I used to live around there myself.
What?
Yeah.
What school did you go to?
I went to school in the West End, though, because my mom sent me to a church school. So It was, in the West End and a bit of a bus ride away. But yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, but we've got more in common than we thought already.
Yeah, exactly. So grew up in Toronto, Canada, was, a child to a single mom who worked really, really hard, to provide for me and my 2 older sisters. And it's pretty much how I grew up.
And yes. What did you take in school?
Right. Okay. So we're fast forwarding quite a bit.
No, you know what? No.
So you know what?
No. Let's go back a little bit. How was life growing up with a single mother, being mothered by a single mother?
Well, it was interesting because that is actually where I learned to start cooking, because my mom was a single mom and she used to have to work a lot of hours, like sometimes 12 hours a day or more. So I was frequently in the kitchen, as a youngster, just kind of cooking up things on my own and try to come up with different recipes. So I think that's kind of where my interest for food, came in, and my interest in just playing around with different flavors and different recipes.
Did you have any specialties when you were growing up? Some things that the family wanted you to cook?
Cornbread.
Oh, no. You're kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, do you still make it?
I do still make it. Yeah. And I perfected the recipe even more this year over the holidays. So it's the best it's ever been. So
what makes your cornbread so special?
I brown the butter first and I make it in a cast iron skillet.
Wow.
Yeah, so when you brown the butter, it kind of gets a little bit caramelized, and then I make it in the cast iron skillet, which makes it a little bit fluffier and slightly crispy on the outside, and it's just like, it's delicious. But it's an indulgence and not something I make all the time. It's usually just for, special occasions.
Wow. My one of my sisters makes cornbread, and she knows I love it so much that anytime there's a family get together, there's the tray for me.
Oh, okay. When's your birthday? I have to make you like a special batch.
We're going offline that. We're going offline that. But you know what's actually interesting is one of the most unique cornbreads I ever tasted. There is a chef, haven't seen him in a while, named Anthony Mayer. And he used to be she's chefed on a number of different places. One of them was Harlem downtown. And one day,
I know Harlem.
Yeah, one day he made me cornbread with actual kernels of corn in it.
Nice.
Very, very nice. But this, so you had the food thing when you were younger. What did you do with that, and how did you advance yourself in regards to that love of cooking, love of life at a young age?
Oh, it's so funny. I'm almost ashamed when I tell people this, but later on in life, what I ended up doing actually was I started my own cupcake company. So what I would do is I would make cupcakes, and I would set up kind of like a cupcake bar. So I'd bring like naked cupcakes to like I did birthday parties, I did anniversaries, I did housewarming parties. So I'd set up the naked cupcakes, and then I'd have like different frostings and different piping bags and different toppings. So people kind of did like a build your own cupcake sort of situation.
Nice.
Yeah.
And is this while you were going to school?
No, this was after I graduated school. Okay. So I took communications and advertising in school, and then graduated, and then just, went on to do that. And then, life took a turn when I realized that maybe making cupcakes wasn't the best thing for my waistline.
Okay. Before we go any further, want to shout out to guess who's watching on Periscope, Trudy?
Who?
Oh, come on. The person I said to you at the beginning that you're really on test for?
Oh, Fenella.
Yes. Welcome to Fenella.
Hi, Fenella.
On Periscope. And also I Can Do Dave from Australia is watching also on Periscope.
Okay. Hello.
So it's
Australia.
Really
awesome.
We've got people on Periscope. We've got people on YouTube. We've got people on Get Vocal. We also have the live audio stream on Mixer. People are listening there. So there are people all around the place, not only on platforms and around the world. So this is good stuff.
I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah. You were saying life took a turn. Do you want to get into that?
Yeah, it did. It did. Well, the cupcake business got really popular, and I had a hard time kind of keeping up with the demand. But then I got engaged. Let's just tell the story of like how it really happened. But I got engaged, and then I realized that making cupcakes wasn't the really best thing for my waistline, especially as I was trying to fit into a wedding dress. So I ended up folding the cupcake business because I kind of fell out of love with that. And I decided that I wanted to lose weight because some things were happening to me that, and I'm sure some people who are trying to lose weight can relate to, but, I say that my breaking point one day was when I was in the bathroom, I happened to be talking to a friend next to me in the stall. Sorry if this is TMI.
Okay.
But as I'm like buttoning up my pants, the button popped off of my pants, and then it rolled over into the stall right next to me where my friend was, and I was completely mortified. So that was kind of my breaking point for me, and that's when I realized that, I was tired of blaming my pants. I was tired of blaming my, my washing machine and my dryer, that my pants couldn't fit, and I decided that I really was going to lose weight this time once and for all and not gain it back.
So after that very interesting experience, what was your first move to start losing weight?
I started doing a lot of research. I started researching what worked and what didn't, because I knew the things that I had tried weren't working for me. So I'm like, okay, well, what is actually working out there for people? So I started looking at different research studies. I started looking at medical journals, all the boring things that the average person probably doesn't want to read. But I was determined to figure out what was actually working for people and what was actually working out there in the field of science, and kind of crafting a plan of my own to see if I could actually be successful as well at losing weight. Because of course I couldn't afford to have these people at my disposal, but if I was able to follow some of the tactics that they were teaching and some of the things that were successful in these trials, I might have an opportunity to have my weight loss success story as well.
Excellent. I just want to share. I Can Do Dave from Australia said I had my first cupcake on Christmas Day, courtesy of a good friend who has a cupcake business.
Oh, amazing. What type of flavored cupcake was it? I'm curious.
Well, Dave, if you want to say what type it is, we'll certainly share it with Trudy. So you did a lot of research. And how much time did you spend doing the research?
Oh, I would say months. I would say like a good 3 months. But during that time, as I was doing the research and as I was finding out things, I started testing out little things. So one of the very first things that I realized was that low-fat diets don't work. And I'm going to get into this more a little bit later with the 5 steps. But, that was one of the things that I realized because I was eating a lot of those, those 100-calorie snack packs?
Yes.
Like I would have like a snack craving and then I would eat them, but I would want to eat like 2, 3, and 4 of them. And then I started to think like there's got to be something up here. Like, why am I constantly going back to eat these things over and over and over again? And that's when I started to, uncover the research with low-fat diets and a lot of these low-fat products and how they're so pumped with sugar and they're pumped with so many different additives that when your body doesn't know what to do with these things, it actually ends up storing it as fat.
Okay. Just an update. Dave says it was a strawberry and chocolate cupcake.
Ooh, that sounds like a nice one.
Yeah. So you've got this, you've done all this research, and what did you do? What was your next step after you did all this research? You said, I got all this artillery. What's my next move?
Right. So the next move that I did was I actually started doing a food diary or a food journal. And I started tracking the food that I was eating because I felt if I was actually tracking the food that I was eating, I could be more honest and more accountable in what was potentially causing the problem and why I wasn't losing weight. So through one of the things I discovered with the food diary or the food journal was that I was having way too much sugar. Like I had the ultimate sweet tooth and I was putting about 4 to 5 packs of sugar into my coffee each and every day.
Wow.
So once I did the food diary and I kind of saw that, I was like, okay, Trudy, that's where you need to start. You need to start with the coffee.
Okay. So your diary, you're checking. I've only had 2 cups of coffee in my life.
Oh, consider yourself lucky.
Yeah, I don't do
It's
coffee.
so addictive.
Yes. I fully hear. Hey, guest 977 saying, hey, people, I don't know who you are, but I say, hey, people. So I'm just shouting you out big time. Okay, so it sounds like you're building. Oh, hello, Ellie from France. Good to have you.
Hi, Ellie.
So you're building. You've done research. You're journaling. Mm-hmm. What was the next step? It sounds like you were in a specific journey, your calculated journey.
Yeah, absolutely. So my thing was that I didn't want to add anything else on until I conquered one thing first. And I think a lot of times when people are trying to lose weight, and I had a discussion about this earlier today, actually, with someone I'm about to work with who's a fitness expert. But, I think a lot of people, when they start to eat healthier, they start a new, healthy regime, they try to do too many things at once. And it just puts a really, really tough burden to carry when you try to change so many different things at once. So I knew it was the coffee and I knew it was the sugar. And I said, okay, that's the one thing I'm going to start with. And I'm not going to layer on anything else until I get control of that one thing. And so that's what I did. And that took at least, I would say, like a good month before I got a hold of, putting less sugar in my coffee. But, one of the things I did was I started adding cinnamon to my coffee. Oh. Because cinnamon is really great for balancing your blood sugar. And it also has like a little bit of like a natural sweetness to it as well. So I found that actually helped because it added a little bit of flavor to the coffee as well. And it made me miss sugar a little bit less.
Oh, Patricia, Durham Skywriter saying, I switched from sweet tea with lots of sugar to a mixture of sweet tea and sliced fruits, sweetened with a bit of stevia.
Oh, that's great. That's a great idea. I love that. I love the addition of the sliced fruits. And it looks nice too, right? And then when you drink it, you feel great about drinking it.
Don't worry, Durham. We'll get you on in a little bit because I know you have some questions for Trudy. Just want to get through this part of the journey, then we'll start opening it up. Now, at this time, 2-part conversation piece. Were you noticing your weight loss during this time? And when did the idea come of starting to mentor and coach people in this area?
Yeah, well, what I did notice, Dr. Vibe, was that my palate started to change. So before, like again, with the sugar craving, like I would constantly be eating cookies as well. I'd always have cookies there every single time I sat down and watched a TV show at night. There the cookies were, there the ice cream was, or there the sweet treat was. But I found that as I started to cut back sugar in the coffee and like the cookies were there, the cookies just weren't as appealing as they once were. So it became easier to say no to them. I felt like it was a choice that I was making versus something that I felt I had to do, if that makes sense.
Sure.
But where I really started to see the weight come off was when I started to add protein and healthy fats, because adding those two things really helped with the sugar cravings as well.
Okay. So, okay, let's talk about protein here. What are the best ways of getting protein? I know a lot of people swear by protein powders.
Yeah.
But are there good protein powders and bad protein powders?
You know, I think the answer to that is it depends. For me personally, I have a plant-based protein powder because I found that when I was using whey powders, it actually made me a lot bloated. So when I started to experiment with different types of protein powder, I realized that the plant-based powders really were the ones that worked best with my system and were the ones that I was able to more easily digest. So I would say, like, if you're really pressed for time, and I mean, who isn't these days? I would say, you know, adding a protein powder to like a morning smoothie is the best way to get protein, to make sure that you're actually getting that protein. You know, and other things as well you can add. You can do chicken, you can do fish. I'm a big fan of plant-based protein as well. So things like beans and lentils. And, you know, prior to my weight loss journey, I had never even eaten a lentil. I didn't know what to do with it. I had no idea. But, you know, I started adding those foods in when I was losing weight, like the lentils and the beans. And I found that with those, it helped me to feel full for a longer period of time. So I wasn't overeating. So that was really, really helpful to me as well, because I was a grazer. I was just constantly eating things like along the way. By adding in those sources of protein and healthier fats as well, I found that it helped me to feel fuller and more satisfied for a longer period of time.
Okay. Now you mentioned protein, and there was something else. Can't remember what you had mentioned. Protein and can't remember.
Healthy fats.
Yes. Okay. And you know what? I'm going to start opening up the room, because I'm starting to ask questions about these sort of things. So I'm going to open up the room. If anyone wants to jump on the Get Vocal platform, certainly you can bring yourself in. Durham Skyrider, if you have any questions, we're going to make it happen here. With healthy fats, what are some healthy fats? Because when people first hear fat, most people say fat's not good for you.
Yeah. So, you know, you should fear not eating fat, because fat is so essential to so many different functions in your body. Not only does it help you with weight loss, it actually helps with brain health as well. So I highly recommend adding more fat sources. I think people are way too afraid to eat fat. It seems like it's, you know, kind of changing a little bit more these days, especially with things like the keto diet. But definitely there's still a lot of people out there that fear eating fat. And you should probably fear eating the low-fat foods more than eating fatty foods, because the low-fat foods, again, are just packed with so many additional sugars and additives and preservatives and the things that your body just can't process. So when your body can't process those things, again, it turns it into fat on your body. But some great sources of healthier fats are things like avocados, you know, nuts, seeds. I really love chia seeds, for example. And chia seeds was another food that I would never touch, because I didn't like the texture. I didn't like the idea of it. But now I can't get enough of them, because you can use them in so many things. Like, you can add them to a smoothie. You can make them in a dessert. And again, they make you feel fuller for a longer period of time. And they also have these healthy omega-3 fats as well, which is also really great for brain health and cognitive function as well.
Ellie from France has made a comment here. Smoothies have way too much sugar.
Yes, and they certainly can, depending on what you're putting into your smoothie, because not all smoothies are created equal. So I would highly recommend, like, say, for example, bananas. Okay, so a lot of people are putting way too much bananas in their smoothies. Okay, and I'm not saying don't eat fruits, like, that's not the message here, but there are some fruits that are higher in sugar than other fruits. So bananas, pineapples, mangoes, fruits like that tend to be higher in sugar. So what I recommend, sorry, go ahead, Dr. Five.
But aren't mangoes good for you?
They are good for you.
Okay.
Yeah, they're absolutely good for you. But what you want to do in your smoothie is you want to add some healthy sources of fat and maybe some healthier sources of fiber as well. Because what that's going to do is it's going to slow down the rate of sugar absorption into your body. So it's going to make it a much healthier smoothie for you. So don't be afraid to add those healthy fats into your smoothie. So for example, add avocado in your smoothie. You can add, again, you can add the chia seeds. You can add coconut oil. You can add MCT oil if you want. You can add flaxseed. Just make sure you're getting some sort of healthy fat in there to really control the blood sugar.
Nice, nice. I want to get back to your journey. When did you realize that, or you got the initiative to start mentoring / coaching people on this?
You know, it wasn't even on my radar. And being a nutritionist was the furthest thing from my mind. I mean, I owned a cupcake company for crying out loud. So nutrition definitely wasn't a priority for me. But you know, I started to get angry, Dr. Vibe, actually, when I started to find out and uncover things about the low fat industry. And, you know, if you look back on the data, and if you look at when obesity, the rates of obesity started to rise, specifically in North America, they started to rise right about the time that a lot of the low fat products started flooding into the market. And a lot of these companies, they don't want you to know how filled with sugar and additives these low fat products are. And when I started doing my research on that, I got angry because people are entrusting you and coming to you, hoping that you can help them to lose weight, hoping that you can help them to eat healthier. And here you are throwing in all these different additives and sugar into these products, which is only making the problem worse. And you know this, but you do it all for a profit. So when I started to uncover these things, and when I also started to design my own plan and these things were working on me, that's when I really thought, you know what, I want to learn even more about this. And then that's when I started to, you know, look into different schools that I could go to. And then I became a certified culinary nutritionist because I really wanted people to tap into, you know, using food in order to prevent disease and, you know, heal disease, lose weight and all that. And it really comes down to the food.
Excellent. I'm just going to jump over to the YouTube channel and Dawn Morris, who is a nutritionist, fitness person in Chicago. She's saying, hi there. She is, and she puts in capital letters SO, so on point. Don't get me started about these trendy diets.
Oh, I know.
It goes, great information about, oh, and a friend of yours named Danny Stone saying great information about and Don Morris is saying, yes, 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 yes. So you've got a fan in Don Morris, big time.
Oh, that's amazing. Thanks, Don. I get a little heated sometimes when I talk about the low fat diet industry because it pushes my buttons. It really does.
So, well, let's go a little bit deeper on that because I have not had I've never had a conversation with the low fat diet industry. Give us a little bit more thought process on what you're thinking on, your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think yogurt is probably the worst because I see a lot of men, a lot of my clients who are eating the low fat yogurt because they're on a diet and they don't want to eat fat because they think that the fat is going to make them fat. So I'm going to do a great thing and I'm going to have, you know, low fat yogurt instead. And then I'm going to get the low fat yogurt strawberries in it because I really like strawberries. But then again, you're getting all these different sugars. You're getting all of these different preservatives. And a lot of these preservatives have been linked, and sugars, of course, have been linked to obesity, have been linked to heart disease. Cancers. It goes on and on. It's awful. Yeah, I agree. They taste like cardboard, Ellie. I totally agree. Go for the full fat. I would rather have you have the Greek yogurt that has the protein and it has the healthy fats in it. Do that instead. And it's because the Greek yogurt, it's actually it's like more filling. Like if you have low fat yogurt, it just tastes so bland and so thin. If you have yogurt, it's like, it's more filling, right? And it's more satiating. So you don't even need a lot of it as well.
We're going to get into this. So the whole food industry, it seems to be a little of a joke. It's like, it seems that you're saying they're not telling the truth. They're playing games with us, etc. Why aren't they more policed? because when you look at what you're talking about, the effects of this stuff means unhealthier people, higher
Right.
health costs, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
Why aren't, I don't like to get political, but why aren't the governments policing them more? Your
Because
thoughts.
everybody has their fingers in the pie. And what I mean by that is sometimes you look at certain studies as well. And some of these studies actually favor companies that put up money behind these studies to show more favorable results towards, a certain product. So you have so many different people that are profiting off of these, false claims and making money off of these false claims that, it's yeah. I don't want someone to come into my house and like strangle me.
Actually, here's another question from Durham Skyrider saying,
Mm-hmm.
what about low-calorie soda pop? I think no
No.
soda is better than the low-cal stuff.
No, you want to stay away from that. I would rather have you have maybe like a sparkling water, I think is probably better for you. Or even like you were doing, I don't know if it was you, Patricia, that was doing the fruit slices in the water, things like that. And that's the other thing. I think a lot of people get their sugar and a lot of people get their calories from beverages. And I don't know about you, but I'd much rather eat my calories than to drink them. I'd rather hang on to my calories for something else rather than drinking it.
There you go. What about carbonated water?
Yeah, again, that's something you kind of have to watch out for. Some of the carbonated waters, they have a lot of sodium in there. So you want to be mindful of that as well. So just, always look at the nutrition label, always look at, the food label as well, just to kind of see like what type of, items and some type of ingredients that they're putting in there. I find sometimes even the ingredient label tells a much better story about what's actually in your product than, the bright, shiny claims they have like on the front of the package.
Okay. Durham says, I was actually asking if avoidance was preferable to low calorie. So I guess you're agreeing with that?
Oh, like to avoid them altogether? Yeah, if you can, as much as possible, I would say yes. But again, like, don't try to just cut it all at once. Just try to phase it out. Like, try doing different things. Instead of just saying, I'm going to cut out soda altogether, try different things that work. Like, try the water with like the sliced fruit. Try doing some sparkling water. Try doing some unsweetened coconut water. Just mix it up with a few different things and just slowly start to phase out some of those drinks that just aren't good for you.
Well, and I'm back here on YouTube. I love this. I'm like monitoring 3 different platforms and carrying multi-purposing.
I envy those multitasking skills.
I call it multi-purposing, not multitasking.
Multi-purposing. Oh, well, la-di-da.
Yeah. Don Morris is saying the companies are all in it for the money. Kickbacks to the Food and Drug Administration, which is in the United States. And then in capital letters, she goes, she's talking my talk.
Awesome. I love that. I love that.
And she's going, soda is so horrible, full of sugar and chemicals.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's true. So let me ask, we'll get back to your journey. Do you remember your first client and how it happened?
Yeah, I think I did a webinar. It was probably my very first webinar that I did and my very first weight loss product that I had. And she was the very first one that had signed up for it. And I had such a special relationship with her, and I actually still keep in contact with her to this day. And she ended up losing about 35 pounds on my program. And she was one who actually ate a lot of, the products that I talked about, the low-fat yogurts and a lot of the diet sodas and, all those sorts of things. And she slowly started phasing them out as well. She didn't do everything at once. And again, I don't recommend that you do everything at once. It was just sort of more of like a crowding out is what I like to call it. Oh, sorry, Dr. Bob, I can't hear you. You got muted.
After that first client, how did things take off steadily?
Yeah, for sure. More and more people started finding me. I started doing Periscope because Periscope kind of came out at that time. I started doing weekly Periscopes, and then from there, people would find me. People would then find me on Twitter, and then on Instagram, people would find me. So it was kind of just more of like a slow build. And then, of course, word of mouth as well, like through my own friends and family that, saw my weight loss story and saw me lose the 30 pounds and also see me keep it off. And they were like, oh my God, like, not only did you lose the weight, but you've kept it off for years. Like, how have you done that? So, a lot of word of mouth, traffic as well.
Good. Like to shout out on the Get Vocal platform. So Steph, thank you so much for stopping by. It's appreciated, not taken for granted. Did you have a celebration when you lost those 30 pounds?
Yeah, I got married.
Probably that's the unique celebration. There you go.
That was the ultimate celebration. I'll be completely honest. Like, my husband is very handsome. And I really wanted to look good for him. I wanted to look beautiful for him when I walked down the aisle. And, the way that I looked, and it wasn't even, I shouldn't even say looks, because it sounds really superficial, but it was also the way that I felt as well. Like, the weight really affected my self-esteem. It really affected my worthiness. And, I felt embarrassed at times, because sometimes I would go shopping with friends and, they could fit into certain outfits, but then I couldn't fit into certain outfits. So it was more of an emotional thing for me as well. And that's why, I to lose the weight. But the wedding was definitely a celebration.
Wonderful. Want to shout out to Dre. Also, Luke has a question. Is alcohol really storable calories?
Storable calories. What does that mean, Luke?
That's a good question. I'll ask him to further elaborate on the Get Vocal platform.
Yeah.
Dre also says, got to stay chaseable to your spouse.
Yeah, you gotta look, women, you gotta look good for your man, right?
There you go. Now, am I right to? Okay, Luke is saying, can alcohol make you fat?
Sure, if you drink too much of it, absolutely. If you abuse anything can make you fat, right? But with alcohol, what I will say is that there's different things that you can do to, and I want to say make alcohol healthier, but to lessen the effects of alcohol. And actually, over the holidays, I came out with this guide. It was called Holiday Cheer. And essentially what it was, it had 5 or 6 different recipes on how to make, healthier drinks at home. And also how to avoid a hangover as well, let's face it. But yeah, there's different things that you can use. I would say, the number one thing I would say with alcohol is to be very, very careful about the mixers that you choose. So a lot of people will choose a lot of like those sugary mixers to, mix with vodka or rum or whatever it is. Or they'll, use like a lot of fruit juices as well. So there's different things that you can try. Again, you can do like the sparkling water. You can do, an unsweetened coconut water. You can even add turmeric. I had a recipe in there where I added, turmeric to a cocktail. And it was, I think it was unsweetened coconut water, turmeric. Oh, I'm having a blank. A few other ingredients. But yeah, that's what I would recommend. And then with wine, if you look at, the Mediterranean countries as well, a lot of them has. You saw that comment. Oh my God, that is hilarious. What brand are you drinking, Steph? Stop drinking that brand.
That's a classic. That's a classic.
Sorry, that distracted me.
No, that's okay. That's what live streaming is all about. For people who are not watching on the Get Vocal platform, so Steph said coconut water tastes like feet.
Oh, that's so
classic.
Funny.
That's classic. That is the line of the night. That is the line of the night. That is
yeah.
Oh my goodness. I don't know if we interrupted your flow there with that comment.
No, that was good. That was a good laugh. I love that one. Yeah, so back to, I was talking about the Mediterranean countries. So a lot of them, they drink red wine, and red wine is like a staple of their diet, and they have a glass of red wine every single day, right? And some of these people are in areas of the world of what's called the blue zones. So the blue zones are the areas in the world where people live to be, the age 100, 10 times the national average. Right. So they know what they're doing. If they're drinking wine, every single day, they know what they're doing. But I think a lot of them, what they do is they drink wine with the food as well. So it's a little bit harsher on your stomach. You have the food there to absorb the wine, and it's just, overall better for your body and your health.
Okay.
Hope that answers your question, Luke.
Yeah. Don Morris on YouTube saying, all in moderation, everything. Some liquors are worse than others. She's saying, I don't care for it. Yuck. I guess she's talking about alcohol. So there you go. No
Yeah.
problem. And again,
My drink of choice, let me just tell you what my drink of choice is. It's either red wine or I do tequila, club soda, and a little bit of lime.
Wow.
Those are my two drinks, because that drink with the tequila, there's no sugar in there, right? So it's better for you.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Just going to encourage, again, anyone, we have a number of people here on the Get Vocal platform. If anyone wants to come into the room, there are 2 seats open if you have any questions to ask. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Trudy, are all your clients women?
Mostly women. I would say like 90% women. There are some men there as well, but yeah, like there's been like not very many male clients. I would say 3 male clients.
Okay.
So definitely the majority of them are women. But I don't like shy away from men. If I'm all the more happy to, counsel more men, and I would love to actually, counsel more men as well.
Okay, so with the women clients that you have, when they approach you, do they have some common challenges that they're facing when it comes to weight loss?
Yeah. Well, some of them come to me with weight loss. Some of them, quite a few of them actually lately have been diagnosed with pre-diabetes as well. So that's kind of freaked them out to have that diagnosis, and they really want to get their blood sugar control in check really quickly. But sorry, with the weight loss clients, what do they have in common?
Yeah, are there some common things that they're wanting to have addressed when they come to you for coaching in regards to weight loss?
Oh, right. Yeah, definitely. The sweet tooth. That's by far number one, is the sweet tooth. How do I get control of the sugar? And then following that is, and just how to, throw meals together more quickly and just eat healthy more consistently.
So with those things that they come that are challenges, what are some of the barriers for them to achieve that, and where you help them?
Yeah, well, it's the sugar cravings. They just can't get past the sugar cravings. But a lot of the time it's because they're not really eating, a lot of the other foods that's really going to help to minimize those cravings. But then there's also, and this is the topic tonight, but the 5 reasons why you're not losing weight. And these are actually the most common things that I see that these women have in common when they come to me, in terms of why they just can't break that weight loss plateau and why they can't lose weight.
Okay. As you mentioned, maybe a good time if you want to go over the 5 reasons why.
Yeah, sure.
Go for it. And before you go any further, Dawn says she dislikes coconut water also.
Oh, really? This is what I'm drinking right now. This is what this is. But you know what? To each his own. Not everybody's gonna like the same thing, and I get that. But and really with that, Dawn, I'm glad that you brought that up, because it really is finding out what works best for you. Okay, just because it works well for Trudy doesn't mean that it's going to work well for you too. You have to get into your own rhythm. You have to get into your own groove and really figure out what works right for you. And the best way to do that is to experiment with different things, for sure.
Excellent.
So the 5 reasons why you're not losing weight. So number 1, I would say, is stress. And when my clients come to me, the very first thing that I get them to do is complete what's called a client intake form. So I just ask them some questions just to get to know them a little bit better. But one of the questions I ask them is, on a scale of 1 to 10, what is your stress level? And the majority of the time, they're at a 7 or an 8, which is a little bit alarming to me, especially if they're trying to lose weight, because a lot of people underestimate, the impact that stress has on your body when you're trying to lose weight. And of course, stress can even lead to things like heart disease. It can lead to stroke as well. And stress isn't always a bad thing. Like sometimes a little stress is good to kind of light a fire under you and keep you going. But when you're in a state of chronic stress, that's when it becomes a problem, because that's when your body starts releasing the stress hormone called cortisol, right? And cortisol is excreted by your adrenal glands, right? And it not only does it make it really hard for you to lose weight, it also affects your brain cells as well. So it actually, speeds up aging as well, the more that you're in this high stress state. And studies have also shown that people that have like higher levels of cortisol, they tend to store more fat around their middle. So a lot of muffin tops and, just, a lot more fat around the middle.
Yeah.
And even if you look at the body composition of some of these people as well, sometimes you have people that are called like skinny fat, if you might have heard of that term before. but like their arms will be really skinny, their legs will be really skinny, but then, you know, their midsection is, you know, a bit enlarged. And typically when I see that body composition, that tells me immediately that these people have higher levels of cortisol in their system.
Number two.
Number two, okay. So number two. So I was gonna that just in case you're like, oh my God, I'm like freaked out now. What do I do, man? So some things that help with that is magnesium. Okay, so magnesium is what's known as the anti-stress mineral. And it really helps to control your blood sugar as well. So controlling your blood sugar is really important because when you have these, you know, states where your blood sugar gets spiked. So let's say, you know, at 3 o'clock, you eat that cookie and your blood sugar goes up and then it crashes and you go up and down. So that whole Six Flags sort of situation, it really contributes again to especially belly fat. Okay, so adding more magnesium is really going to help with your stress levels as well. Cookies, I know, Luke, I know, I love the cookies too.
Well, I'm concerned
yeah.
about also saying my whole body is enlarged. That's concerning.
Oh, what does that mean? Your whole body is enlarged.
Steph, you need to come on and share with us if your camera ready and you're open, because I'd really like to have you speak with Trudy in real time about that.
Yeah.
It means I'm fat. Okay.
Yeah, well, so Steph, I encourage you, like, if you'd love to jump on, like, let's talk about that a little bit. Let's do some, you know, some real time, you know, solutions and stuff.
Luke says, I'm off the cookies. It's quite sad.
Oh, that's funny. And, you know, again, like I have a huge sweet tooth, so I've had to try to be really creative at ways to make, you know, sweet treats healthier. So one of the things that I did was, and I talked about lentils, I think a little bit earlier, but one of the things that I did, and I ended up winning this competition that I entered, I took out the butter. So I made these chocolate chip coconut lentil blondies, right? So what I did was I took out the butter and I put lentils in place instead. So I cooked the lentils and I put them in as a substitute for butter. And like I gave them to my husband, and my husband's always the barometer for me because he's like not the healthiest eater. Sorry, babe, I'm throwing you under the bus, but he's not the healthiest eater. So when I gave him these, I didn't even tell him what I did to it. I just gave it to him, and he's like, "Oh my God, like these are so good. Like, what are these?" And when I told him there was lentils in there, he's like, "You're kidding me!" And I was like, "Yep, they're in there." So you know, just doing different things like that. Like I've made brownies where I put beets in my brownie, you know, before as well. You know, I make these double chocolate cookies that have avocado in them, which makes them really fudgy. You get the healthier fats in there. So I'm always trying to just being creative to satisfy the sweet tooth, right? Nice. So don't give up. Like if you still like sweet treats, there are ways to still enjoy sweet treats. You just have to be just a little bit creative.
Okay. On the YouTube side, Don Morris says, oh yeah, that sweet tooth is the killer. Food planning is always the hard one for my clients.
Yeah, for sure. And definitely.
J Mog on Get Vocal. Can prescription medication hinder your metabolism? Can the meds make you gain weight, especially you have to take it every day?
I would say that it depends on the medication that you're on. And I think, you know, the best thing to do is discuss any sort of side effects with your doctor first and foremost. But yeah, like certainly there are some medications that you take that can cause you to gain weight for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Number two.
So number two is high insulin levels. So insulin is kind of like, I call it the maestro for your fat cells. So with insulin, you can actually either take in calories or sorry, I should say your fat cells can actually take in calories or release calories. So of course, if you're trying to lose weight, you really want to release those calories, okay? So insulin is the hormone that is made in your pancreas. And its role really is to help your body to just shuffle around the sugar from food into your cells, okay? So if there's anything left over, which there usually is, or sometimes is, I should say, it will go into your fat cells and just kind of like park it right there, okay? So this leads to insulin resistance. And I'm just trying to break this down and just try to, you know, make everyone understand the same page as much as possible. But this can lead to insulin resistance, which essentially when, you know, like the cells in your muscles and your body fat and your liver, they start resisting or ignoring that signal that the hormone insulin, which is trying to get out, which is to remove those sugars from your bloodstream. And insulin resistance can be a very, very dangerous thing because it can actually lead to obesity. It can lead to, heart disease. It can lead to, diabetes, Alzheimer's, all sorts of things. And the one thing that really causes insulin resistance primarily is a lot of, high carb foods. Okay, a lot of processed foods, I should say, and refined foods. Okay, and then refined foods are things like, all the processed foods where it's so completely processed that it just removes all the nutrients from it. It removes all the fiber from it. And then you're just kind of left with this, refined, manufactured mess.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
so you want to get your, oh, sorry, go ahead, Dr. Vibe.
Dawn is saying her eldest daughter is a pastry chef and she's always experimenting with different ways to make sugar sweets healthy. Some have been.
Oh, that's awesome. Ooh, that sounds great. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it's just, I wouldn't say completely give up on it. I would just say, find a healthier way to enjoy your favorite foods. Even with General Tao chicken, I'm going a little bit off topic, but General Tao chicken is like one of my favorite takeout foods. So that was another thing I kind of challenged myself with, trying to find a way to try mine too. I know, right? I love me some General Tao chicken. Oh my God.
I don't like it. I'm not a, what it is interesting. I love Hakka
so
food.
Good.
Those people who don't know what Hakka food is Chinese food and with spices and high spice. And I always order from the same place. And I always make sure, as Mitch also, all the dishes have no MSG and little oil.
Yeah. No, well, I was going to say with the General Tao chicken that I had to challenge myself to come up with a healthier recipe. So I know I'm not alone because that is my most popular YouTube video. I think there's like, I don't know, 13,000 views on that General Tao chicken video. So there's a lot of General Tao chicken lovers out there. Dre, you are not alone.
Yes. Order before 3:30 p.m. and it costs less.
Right.
Luke's in Kung Pao chicken hot for me. There you go.
Oh, Kung Pao's another good one. Another good one. You know what I've done, Luke? I've done actually Kung Pao chickpeas.
What?
Kung Pao chickpeas. Yeah. So rather than chicken, just using it with chickpeas. I don't know if that's on the blog or if that's in my personal repertoire of recipes. It might be in my personal thing. I might have to actually release that one now that I'm thinking about that, just for you, Luke.
There you go. And
General Tao cauliflower. That sounds good.
Wow. This is very interesting. All right. Let's get to number 3.
Okay, number 3. So I actually just want to talk really quickly about carbs. I know I talked about insulin and, insulin resistance and, avoiding refined carbs. So what I really want to say is that, don't completely avoid carbs. And I hate saying this because I know there's going to be some people here who are keto lovers, but I'm just not a huge fan personally of the keto diet. I do feel like carbs are really important. Not I feel, they are important. Carbs are really important for giving your body energy. So you really want to start eating the right carbs as much as possible, okay? So you want to get your carbs from like whole foods. Again, things that I mentioned like quinoa, the lentils, the beans. You really want to make sure you're getting it from vegetables and fruits as well. Like vegetables are an amazing source of carbs. Okay, and there's also, there's great ways that you can prepare vegetables where it doesn't have to suck and then it actually tastes great. So then let's get into tip number, where are we at, 3?
Number 3.
So tip number 3, why you're not losing weight is because you're not eating enough. Okay, so let's all make a pledge right here and now. We're all gonna stop starving ourselves. Okay, because hanging on to one carrot stick all day long for dear life is not going to do you any favors. And I see so many women doing this. They're counting the points. They're counting the carrot sticks. Okay, I got 6. No, I'm supposed to have 5 carrot sticks. So take that one out and put that one over here. No, like stop doing that. When you're not eating enough, you're not doing your body because it's sending a signal to your brain that you're in starvation mode. Okay, and then once your brain gets that signal, then it starts to slow down your metabolism. So you definitely want to make sure that, you're eating enough foods. I like including a lot of foods, especially with fiber, because I think a lot of high fiber foods are foods that are going to make you feel full. It's going to, bridge that gap and not, have you overeating all the time. Yeah. And a lot of people are not getting enough fiber in their diet either.
Okay. What are some easy sources of fiber?
Yeah, again, going back to, beans, lentils, dates are a really great source. Just vegetables in general are a great source. Raspberries are actually one of the top sources of fiber as well.
Okay.
And raspberries are really great for removing toxins from the body as well, which is another reason why high fiber foods are so important, because they help to eliminate, as we know, what fiber does, right? Helps you
Yep.
go to the bathroom. So it helps to eliminate those toxins from your body, which is so important when you're trying to lose weight, that you're not, hanging on to any of those toxins.
Wow. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Mhm.
Number 4.
Number 4 is that you're not getting enough sleep. Okay, it is time to put some respect on sleep once and for all. And sleep is just such a hot button topic. And when I used to work in the corporate industry, a lot of people used to brag about, like, how little sleep they get. Oh, well, I only got like 5 hours of sleep. Oh, you think that's something? I only got like 3.5 hours of sleep. Like, we've glorified like not getting enough sleep. Okay, when sleep is so important for your body, just on a whole, in general, for overall health, but it's especially important to your body when you're trying to lose weight. And I might actually share like a fascinating study in a minute, but when you're asleep, your body is really hard at work, again, to repair itself and to, release a lot of the powerful fat burning hormones that's really going to help your body to burn off that fat and help you to lose weight. Okay. So people are really just not understanding the value of sleep and how important it is to have sleep. And I think if people really understood how much sleep affects your body composition, they put a little bit more respect on sleep. Okay. So I was going to say there was actually a study. I can't remember exactly when the study was done, but there was a study that showed that compared two groups. So there was one group that was getting about 8 hours of sleep a night. And then there was another group that was getting about 5.5 hours of sleep a night. And they found the group that was getting more sleep ended up burning 55% more fat. 55% just by getting more sleep, just by that one thing alone. Okay, so sleep is so important when you're trying to lose weight.
Very nice. I just want to go back
Was.
to comments here. Don is saying Korean bowls, yummy. What I think one of the hardest thing for people is cooking for themselves. If you eat your own food, you know what's going into it.
Right.
And also,
And
she says, I never tell my clients to give up carbs. Carbs are energy just like protein.
oh,
I too am not a fan of this whole keto thing.
thank you.
It's another extreme and another way of people to starve themselves.
Right. And and the other thing with the keto diet, I will say really quickly, and this is not a keto bashing. Again, it's whatever works for you, but I just find it really restrictive. And I think if you're on a plan that's very, very restrictive, it might work in the short term. And yeah, you might lose the weight. But what happens in the long term? What happens with the sustainability of keeping that weight off? And so those are the studies that I'm waiting for right now when it comes to the keto diet. I want to see, because now we've seen so many studies at how successful people have been with losing the weight, but it's almost like The Biggest Loser. Like, they go through these extreme measures to lose the weight, but what happens to these contestants after they leave the show and they exit the stage? So I really want to start seeing that research for the keto diet as well, that shows me how these people are able to keep off the weight, how long they've been able to keep off the weight. So that's kind of the studies that I'm waiting to see. But I just really, I'm not a fan of jumping on any particular diet bandwagon at all. Yeah. But I see Dre had, a comment here. He says, when I lay down, I'm in bed for a couple hours before falling asleep. Yeah, you know what, Dre? I suffer from that as well occasionally, and I have a lot of racing thoughts. It's always like, oh my God, did I turn off the lights downstairs? Oh my God, I have to send this person an email tomorrow. Oh my God, I have to make sure that I do the laundry so I have clean underwear. Like, there's just so many things like racing through my mind. And I actually feel like, I don't know if that's what your issue is, Dre, or not, but I just keep like a notebook beside my bed. Or sometimes I just record like a voice note. I'll take my phone and I'll just record a quick voice note just so that I have it somewhere. Because I find when you just clear your mind from those things, then it's almost like your brain's like, oh, okay, great. I can relax now and I can go to sleep. But the one thing that's really worked for me, Dre, is meditation. And, you know, I was not a person who would meditate a couple years ago. Like I had no interest in it. I thought it was very woo-woo with the whole meditation. Then I actually tried it and I was like, okay, let me just try this meditation thing just to see if there's anything to it. And now I love it and I can't get enough of it because I just find it's just such a great way to just release your mind, like right before you go to bed. And the nights that I meditate are the nights when I sleep the best. And when I don't meditate, I don't have a restful sleep. Like I tend to wake up during the night or I have a hard time falling asleep. So I would say give meditation a try. And you could just jump on YouTube and just search, you know, guided meditation. Because I like doing guided meditations. I like someone kind of walking me through it. So just search like guided meditation and something will come up and you'll see it. Just give it a try. Don't knock it. Just try it.
And Durham Skywriter is saying here on Get Vocal, when I'm restless, I watch garden tour videos right before going to sleep. Works every time.
Oh, I like that. What show is that?
Okay. So Steph saying taking zinc can help regulate your adrenal gland, which in turn can help you lose weight and get rid of adult acne.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Ray's saying he's gonna takes your advice and says will do. So bunch of comments are just flying on here all.
Yeah, no, I see that. I see that.
See, I watch J-Mog saying I watch food reviews. Pictures here. YouTube, I watch yours. Okay, there we go. So we got a lot of participation going on here. It's very good.
I love that, guys. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. If there's any other questions you have, like feel free to throw them in the chat.
Don is saying back here on YouTube, as a personal trainer, I have to push clients to eat. Food is your friend, not your enemy. When their bodies aren't changing after training with me for about 3 weeks, I see from their food journal that they are not eating enough.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's so funny. Like, Don, I love you. I don't know who you are, but I love you.
Maybe we'll have to get both you guys on together.
So I just did a Facebook Live actually about this just before I jumped on this broadcast. Because right now I'm doing a free challenge. It's like a weight loss challenge that I'm doing. It's called Drop 5 and 5. It's a 5-day weight loss challenge. So today was day 1 of the challenge. And the one thing that I shared was the importance of keeping a food journal or a food diary for losing weight. Because one of the things that it does for you is that you have that awareness. Because again, like you're just kind of going about your day, you're thinking that, okay, I'm not doing that bad. I only had, that one cookie or, that little cupcake, the strawberries and cream cupcake over there. I had, but yeah, when you actually, you have that awareness of, what you're eating, when you're eating, how much you're eating it. And the one thing as well that I covered, I think I had it here, like I shared this food journal with everybody on here, but this is the free template that I kind of gave people. And so along here is like the days of the week. And then like down here along the side was like breakfast, lunch, dinner, and the times. And the thing about the times is that you might notice when you're doing your food journal that, hey, I had breakfast at 8, but I didn't have lunch until 2 o'clock. Right? Which is not great because now you're putting your body into that starvation mode. So again, like going back to the food journal, it really helps you to uncover a lot of different things. So I'm glad that you mentioned that, Dawn.
And she says she listens to someone named Louise Hay to calm down. And then she says she loves you too, giggle.
Yeah, I love YouTube too. Yeah, Louise Hay, she's awesome. She's amazing. Like, rest in peace. She's no longer with us. But yeah, no, she has some just such amazing just writings and books and meditations and mantras. And yeah, if you need any sort of like positive uplift, I definitely recommend checking out Louise Hay.
And also here, Trudy mentioned her Drop 5 and 5 challenge. If you're in the on the platform here on Get Vocal, I put the link to it in the chat section. So if you just hover your mouse over the link, you will see it. You'll go right to it. So, and I'm also just going to put it now also on the YouTube channel, the Drop 5 and 5 challenge link. So if anyone wants to go for it, they just need to click on the link that I'm providing here. And you're good to go. She'd love you to.
I would love to have you guys on the challenge. Just to give you like a really quick synopsis of the challenge. So the Drop 5 and 5 challenge is designed to help you 5 pounds and beyond. Because sometimes you just need a little bit of a push just to get a little bit of a jump start, so you get that motivation and you get that momentum to keep going, right? So I think once you see those first results and you see that, hey, I've lost like 2 pounds, 3 pounds, 5 pounds, it's like, okay, I can do this. I got this. So again, it just goes back to really like those small wins and just getting that motivation and getting that momentum under your belt to keep carrying forward. So that's really what the challenge is designed to do. And again, it's 5 days, started today, so you can still join. It's free. Goes until Friday. And at the end of the challenge, I'm giving away prizes to the most engaged people in the community. So there's also prizes up for grabs as well. So if you're competitive, then yeah, it's definitely for you.
So what made you come up with this challenge?
Yeah, I do a challenge typically every January because this is the time of year that people want to start, eating healthier and start, having healthy eating habits again and sort of clean things up. So I figured, this is the time where people are looking for that support. They're looking for that guidance. And some people as well, like they want to lose weight, but they just don't know where to start. Like, I just need someone to just let me know, like, what do I focus on here? Where do I start? So that's also what the challenge is designed to do, to kind of give you like a starting point so that you know exactly what it is that you need to focus on, to really help you to be successful at losing weight.
Excellent. So how was day one?
Day one was great. Day one was busy. But day one was great. People are participating. People are asking me questions. Some people are shy, so they send me things, offline. They sneak into the DMs and stuff. But yeah, I highly encourage people to, post their pictures because they're daily assignments every day for the challenge. And it's nothing like deep. It's just, to just help to give you some accountability, really help you meet your goals. But yeah, so those daily assignments, I ask people to post them either in our Facebook group or on social media and tag me, because I feel like, when you put something out there to say, hey, you know what, like I'm doing this, I feel like when other people see you doing it, it's almost like, okay, now there's that accountability. Like now I put it out there, so I need to like stick to my word and need to follow through with this. So yeah, there's something also very powerful about that as well.
Well, a longtime person I've not heard from in a while, Kiana Rodriguez, saying great topic for the beginning of the year. Thank you, Kiana. In regards to your journey, I guess two-part conversation piece. How is what you're doing now different than when you started? And are your clients different now than when you started?
Oh, that's a good question. So how it's different now than when I started, like when I first started, I was focusing a lot on weight loss. And that was because of the success that I had with losing weight. But then I evolved to healthy habits because a lot of people have started asking me like, okay, that's great that you lost the weight. Like, you have a lot of great weight loss tips, but like, how do I do this every single day for weight management? Like, how do you keep the weight off? Like, how do I just eat healthier more consistently? And so I sat down and I thought about it. I was like, well, what do I do? Because I don't really think about it anymore. I just kind of like do these things, right? And then I realized, I was like, holy crap, it's habits. That's what it comes down to. It's just having healthier habits. And that's why, I hate to keep doing all these plugs, but I need people to understand, like, this is why I wrote the book about habits, because when you have habits, it removes the challenge of overthinking things. It removes the overwhelm. It removes the frustration. It removes you having to just constantly rely on willpower, which sucks. And willpower is like a muscle that can get overused. There's studies that show this. I talk about this in the book. There's studies that show that willpower can get overused, just like any other muscle, right? So that's why I gravitated into healthier habits, because I wanted people to understand, here are some of the things you can do to not only eat healthy more consistently, but, live a healthier life overall.
Well, I'm glad you got a chance. I was going to mention it for you, but you stole right. You kicked your own thunder. You broadcast your own. A little bit about the book. Why did you write it? What is it? You gave us a little overview about what it's about. When did you decide to write it, and how long did it take you to write, etc.?
I decided to write it. So I released the book last year and then decided to write it. So last year was 2018. So I decided in 2017 I was going to write it. And it took me, I would say maybe about 6 months, I think it was, to write it. And, I I never thought about writing a book. I'm like, I'm not an author. I write blog posts. I do Instagram captions. I don't write books. But I started to receive a lot of, I don't want to say a lot of pressure, but people asking me like, why aren't you writing a book? Like you should put a lot of these tips into a book. And I thought, well, I don't know if I have enough to say in a book. But then I said, okay, let me just see if I can actually do this. Let me start by just doing an outline. If I were to do a book, let me start with an outline to say, okay, these are some of the things that I would talk about. So I did the outline, and right then when I did the outline, I was like, okay, I guess I have a lot more to talk about than I realized. And then, yeah, then the idea for the book was born.
And I always like to ask this from first-time book writers. Do you remember the moment when you held your first completed book copy?
Yeah, and I cried. When it came from Amazon, so they did the proof. They sent me the proof of the book, and just I see it here. Even seeing it here is like a little bit of a trip, but being able to just like hold your book in your hands, like seeing my big face on the front. It was just it was a sense of accomplishment. It was a sense of just following through with something and having the discipline to follow through with something, to see it through to completion. And then also, the fact that this was actually going to help to change people's lives. And I said, even if there's only one person that buys it and it changed one person's life, then I'm happy with that. I'm good with that. But it was just really important for me to get this information out to people, because a lot of people are succumbing to diseases that, are preventable through diet. Again, like heart disease and stroke is like the #1 killer in North America. Cancer, of course, is right up there as well. And a lot of these things can be prevented through diet. And I thought if I could just give back by just helping to, save one life or just help one person eat healthier, then it's worth it.
Nice. Just update here. Dawn is saying the food journal really does keep you honest and on point. It changed my perspective while on my own weight loss journey. She says, in regards to Louise Hay, she says, yes, I miss her, though I never met her. You Can Heal Your Life changed my life.
Oh, me too. It's one of my favorite books of all time.
Yeah, she's saying, wow, so funny. I also changed my approach from fitness to health, and there is a difference. 6 months, girl. She goes, 6 months, girl. You are my hero. I've been working on mine for a while. You have inspired me. Thank you. I have work to do.
You got to schedule it. That's what I say. And really, honestly, with the book, like I scheduled the time in the calendar and I held that time sacred. So if somebody said, Trudy, hey, let's go to a movie or let's do this, I'm like, you know what? No, I'm writing my book. I'm on a mission to help people. Like I've carved out this time to work on my book, and I'm sticking to this time to write my book. So that was a huge help for me, just putting time blocks on my calendar. Whether it's just like a few hours on the weekend and like a couple of nights, during the week. Yeah, you have to, because really that's the only way. If it's not in your calendar, I feel like it's not going to happen.
Yeah, time block it. Use the Pomodoro effect.
Yes.
Use that too. That can be very helpful. Don is agreeing with you in regards to heart attack and stroke, saying, yes, Black women are being hit hard by this.
Right. Yes. I actually met a doctor at a talk that I did a couple months ago, and a Black doctor as well. And he was talking about, the incidences of diabetes, specifically in the Black community. And he said, you wouldn't believe how many amputations I've had to do because of diabetes. And I was like, really? He's like, yes, I've had to do like so many amputations. And I've always heard of it, but I never actually heard it from somebody who had actually done it. Right. So yeah, that was a bit eye-opening for me.
Okay. Wow. J Mog is saying something about jasmine tea.
That's nice. I like jasmine tea too. I do a jasmine like green tea. I like that as well. It's nice. It's very fragrant, jasmine tea. It's nice.
Yes, there we go. Yes.
It smells so good, right? Yeah, totally, J Mog.
It does. It smells so good. Well, I think we're going to start winding down because we're on longer than you expected to be on. So I don't want to steal your sleep time.
I know, but we didn't do tip number 5. I just realized.
No, absolutely. No problem. And here's still Social Steph is saying, my son's father died from complications of diabetes, leading to kidney failure and a coma and ultimately brain failure. He was 38.
Oh my God. Wow. Oh. Jeez. So Steph, I
Wow.
am so sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
My deepest condolences. I can only imagine how difficult that
Wow.
must have been. And stories like that, social stuff, is exactly why I do what I do. Because I just want to, even if it's, like I said, even if it's just one person that I get through to, like, it's worth it. And there's just so many studies that show time and time again that a lot of these diseases can be prevented through diet and through proper nutrition. So it's just about just educating yourself, right? Jumping on a live stream like this and just educating yourself and just finding out, like, what are the foods that you can eat, like how can you really make a difference in your life and in your health as well. Again, I'm so sorry to hear that, social stuff.
My condolences. Also, Don Morris is following up around your comments about the doctor who said about amputations and with a number of Black individuals, and she says I would believe it because I've seen it. And
Mm.
also, so Steph is saying it's serious.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I don't want to make it a racial thing, but definitely in the Black community, there are a lot of people who are more susceptible to these diseases, even more so than other cultures as well. So of course, with me being Black, I mean, obvious, it's something it's affected, touched me very personally and very deeply as well.
Okay, number 5.
Okay, so number 5 reason why you're not losing weight is because your metabolism has slowed down. And this is also another hot button topic, like sleep. Everyone's talking about metabolism. How do I get a faster metabolism? So I found that resetting your metabolism is one of the best ways to break a weight loss plateau. And the reason why many people get a slow metabolism, there's lots of different reasons why, but I feel like the one that stands out the most for me is the yo-yo dieting. So a lot of people, they lose weight, gain it back, lose it, gain it back. Like they're constantly on this hamster wheel of just this yo-yo dieting, which completely throws your hormones out of whack, completely throws your body out of whack, and then ends up slowing down your metabolism. So a lot of people think that, as you get older, your metabolism slows down. And yes, age does play a factor and it has something to do with it, but it also has to do with your lifestyle choices as well. So again, I talked about, like, the yo-yo dieting is definitely a contributor. Environmental toxins is also another contributor. Stress, we talked about stress earlier. That's also another contributor to slowing down your metabolism. And again, a lot of those low-fat products and those processed foods, another contributor to slowing down your metabolism.
Okay, fantastic. We got through the
Mhm.
5.
Yay! That's awesome.
Oh, well, here we go to Donna saying, thank you for this, Miss Trudy. I hope to meet you someday.
I hope so too.
And my condolences to Steph and her family. Don also says, but it is a racial thing. It's okay to say it.
Yeah, no, I think it is. And I feel like a lot of people in the Black culture are turning a blind eye to it and not really wanting to talk about it because it's, anytime there's something that's uncomfortable, people don't like to talk about it, right? But I do think that, I wish that it was something that was, talked about just a little bit more, for sure.
Thank you,
Oh,
Luke.
thanks, Luke.
That is massive. Thank you. And Alexander, part of the Get Vocal team, is on Get Vocal with us. Thank you, Alexander, for
Hey,
stopping by.
Alexander.
Appreciated. If you have some more time, we see the labels of all these products in our stores. What should we be looking for if we want to lose weight? And on to that, is eating healthy expensive?
So I would say with food labels, the one thing you really want to avoid that stands out far and above everything else, high fructose corn syrup. Avoid anything that has high fructose corn syrup. It is a man-made ingredient with somebody, in a lab with a pocket protector, just, whipping things up under his little microscope. Like, high fructose corn syrup, it just plays such a huge role in obesity, diabetes. It's one of the nastiest additives that we're adding to our food. And I think a lot of people should just steer clear of that one. And sorry, the second.
Yeah, but
Sorry, go ahead.
before we go any further, so does it actually say on these labels corn syrup, or is it hidden with other names?
A little bit of both. Like sometimes it actually will say high fructose corn syrup, but other times they bury it, like they call it different names. So, for example, when companies add sugars to products, sugar can go by upwards of like 50 different names. The last time I checked.
So okay, so we need to get you on more often, because when 50 different names, most of it just know sugar and maybe
Right. Right.
That's scary right there. That fast.
It's very scary. It's very, very scary. Like what these companies are able to get away with as well. It's yeah.
Yeah. So Steph is saying, yeah, I read for HFC, especially my son's snacks. It's so prevalent in food marketed for kids.
I know, which is the worst thing. It's the worst thing. Like when kids are growing, like they need the right nutrients to help them grow, to help them thrive, not nutrients that are going to, have them to lead to obesity or lead to cancer or those sort of things like later on in life, right? So it's disgusting that these companies are, marketing these foods to kids with these ingredients. And I don't know how they get away with it. I really don't.
Mm-hmm. Oh, look at this. Donna saying, yes, that's it. She is my new best friend. I cannot get enough. And Mr. Danny Stone is saying, awesome job. Great information. Well, you better say that.
Thank you. Thank you. And I just want to comment to Social Steph for just one moment.
Yeah.
So you said rather he gave plain old sugar. So what I would want to have you try, Social Steph, is coconut palm sugar. I don't know if you've heard of that before, but coconut palm sugar is how do I explain this really, really quick? So there's something called the glycemic index. So the glycemic index, it rates carbohydrates from 0 to 100. So a scale from 0 to 100, depending on the extent that it raises your blood sugar levels, right? So coconut palm sugar is in the lower range. So it's definitely something you want to give a try to. You could try baking with it. So basically coconut palm sugar can be used in place of anywhere else that you would use regular sugar. So I would recommend giving that one a try. That one is a little bit more expensive. I will warn you on that one, but it is a much better sugar for your body. And then you had a question, Dr. Vibe, about healthy and eating healthy is expensive, right?
Yeah,
I think that was your second question.
That always comes up to me. Is it expensive to eat healthy?
I would say no. I would say no. I would say that, there's a few different things that you can do with it. So for example, if you are eating a lot more lentils and beans, and again, I'm going back to the lentils and beans, but if you add more of them to your diet, you're going to be saving money, because lentils and beans are like the cheapest foods that we have, in the, I shouldn't say on the planet, but the cheapest healthy foods that you can buy in the grocery store. Let's just say that. So I would definitely recommend adding more lentils and beans to the diet. I'm not saying you have to be vegetarian, but just mix it up a little bit. Like you can still have your chicken, you can still have your fish, do that, but have some nights as well where you maybe do like a vegetarian option and you mix it up and you add lentils and beans. If you go on my website and search lentils, you're going to see like, I don't even know how many different recipes with lentils or beans. You can search on their beans. There's like a Chipotle black bean soup that I love. It's like this spicy, smoky black bean soup. It's delicious. And look for things on sale. Find out. So in Toronto, or I don't know if it's a Canadian thing or if it's a Toronto thing, I don't know. There's this app that's called Flip. So before I go grocery shopping, I look at Flip because it has all of the grocery store flyers in there, and then it shows me what's on sale. So sometimes I build up my meal plan depending what's on sale, just so that I can save money. So you can try that as well. I'm sure there's lots of different apps like that, depending on where you live, where you can see like all of your local store flyers in there, and just base your meals around those items that are on sale.
And for those who are either on YouTube or Get Vocal platform, I've just shared Trudy's website with you both on both platforms. So if you want to find out more, her website is there. And earlier on, I put in the comments section on YouTube and on the Get Vocal her 5 in 5 challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And Dawn is saying here on YouTube, eating healthy isn't expensive. One of the things I do if asked is go do grocery shopping with my clients to show them how cheap it is to eat healthy.
Right, exactly.
And she calls it, I call it eating like my ancestors.
I love that. That is so true because they didn't have Ritz crackers back in those days. Didn't have
Very
Chips Ahoy.
true.
There's none of that.
Michael's saying facts. Agreed. Agreed.
That's right, Michael. That's right.
Good. This is really good. Anything else you want to add to us? Add for us. Sorry, to us, for us.
Yeah, I would say, and I talked about this a little bit earlier, I think near the beginning of the discussion, but if you are trying to lose weight, if you are just trying to eat healthier, again, I would say start small. I know at this time of the year, it's really tempting. Like you have big ambitions, you have big plans, and you want to overhaul everything and you want to eat healthier immediately. And, I recognize that, and that drive is amazing, but don't set yourself up for failure. Just start with one thing. Okay, start with that one thing, get that win under your belt, and then just add the next thing onto it. Don't try to change everything all at once.
Wow, that is good stuff. Dawn is saying beans, brown rice, poultry, fish, and a bunch of greens.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely.
This has been an epic conversation.
Oh, thanks. I think so too. This was great.
Well,
this was great. Thanks so much for all the questions, guys. That was awesome, and all the interaction. I love that. I love that.
I would like people to jump on the Get Vocal platform, and if you still have a few moments, if you want to come into the room, you can do this. Durham Skywriter saying back in the 1940s, studies showed that Black folks were the healthiest group in the United States, but recent generations have developed horrible habits.
Oh my God, that's crazy. And the other thing too is like when you look at other countries as well. So if you look like at Hong Kong and a whole bunch of other countries now where they didn't have like the Western foods, they didn't have the McDonald's, they didn't have the Burger Kings. They were a lot healthier before too, but now a lot of those fast food restaurants have crept in. You're noticing that the health of the people in these countries is also deteriorating as well. So there's something to be said for that. Absolutely, Patricia.
And Dawn on YouTube is saying, I'm clapping right now.
I love it. I love Dawn.
Well, folks, I'm going to see. We also had jobs where we did manual labor and sharecropping, not at a desk.
Right. It's so true. If you can if you work in an office environment, if you can, I don't know if some companies, like some of my clients, their companies will pay for this. Some of them won't. So it really depends on the company you work for. But try to see if you can get, all right. So Steph, I'm just going to say that, a standing desk. Yeah, because you're breaking it up. You're not just sitting constantly, right? Because all that, I can never say that word, sedentary, I think it's called. I don't know, sitting still. Let's just say that, sitting still. All of that just leads to, you're not burning any calories. You're not burning any fat. But when you're standing up, you're actually burning more calories. You're burning more fat. Or if you have a conference call, walk around the office. Get your headset, walk around the office and take that conference call, or walk outside if you can. Take it on your cell phone, go outside for a walk for your conference call, even better. Just try to just get some movement.
Yeah, and even then too, even if you have to sit down at your workplace, whether you're an entrepreneur at a workplace, work in 20-minute spurts. Every 20 minutes, get up, get away from the screen, walk around, stretch, etc.
Right. So important.
It does make a difference. Absolutely. Let's see if there's anything else left here on the hit parade. They've been going strong for a while now. Dawn is saying yes, and they are so right. My great-grandparents, and my grandmother lived with me growing up. All we ate was healthy food.
I remember one time, I'm shaming my mom here. So my background is Jamaican. Both my parents are Jamaican. And I used to go to Jamaica every single summer to visit my grandparents. And I remember as a child, one summer, I don't know if there's any other Jamaicans out there that can relate to this, but whenever we go to Jamaica, we pack a box with a whole bunch of stuff. There's like toilet tissue, there's like canned food, there's all sorts of different things in this box. So, my mom packs the box. We get to Jamaica, we're sitting in my grandparents' kitchen. My mom opens the box and pulls out Captain Crunch. which is cereal, right? I don't know if you guys know the cereal Captain Crunch. My grandma lost it. She was like, "What is this food?" She's like, "No, you're not eating this. Like, no, this is not, we're not even touching this. Like, how are you feeding this to, Trudy?" And so on and so forth. So there's something to be said for, yeah, I mean, your ancestors, they definitely didn't eat a lot of that, packaged processed food. And I mean, my grandmother lived to be 101 years old. So there's something to be said for that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dawn is also saying her grandparents were from the deep south, by the way. No fried foods and a bunch of veggies and greens.
Nice. Yeah, that's good.
So there we go. Folks, I think we're going to call this a wrap. It's been another epic conversation here. And and I know that, as I said, Trudy needs to get her sleep.
It is approaching my bedtime.
Yes. So we're going to start wrapping up. So Trudy, any final comments, and where can people find out more about what you are doing?
Yeah, well, you can find me over at eatliveandplay.com. If you go on my website, you'll see at the top, there's a link there to join the free challenge. You can do that. All my social media handles are, from the website as well. But on Instagram, I'm, at Eat, Live, and Play. On Instagram, I also have a free Facebook group community. I would love to have you join the community. And, I'd also like to have you buy the book as well. Build those healthier habits there. So yeah, lots of ways to get in contact with me. And if you have any questions, there's an email address on my website. Just shoot me an email and I'm happy to answer any questions you guys have.
Wonderful. Well, what I'm going to do before I close out. Oh, Luke says, always interesting topics and guests, Dr. Vibe. Well, thank you so much, Luke. I received that. That is fantastic. So let me go.
Thank you, Luke.
On the Get Vocal platform. Thank you, J-Mog, Trudy, Durham Skyrider, who's been, I think Durham Skyrider and Luke have been here almost since the beginning of our epic conversation. We've got Ellie from France. We have also, just scrolling down quick here. Also, we had So Steph, we had Dre, Michael, Alexander from the Get Vocal team. Thank you so much. And I followed you back as a friend. So we will keep in touch and you'll know more what's going on with the Dr. Vibe show, epic conversation. I will do it again. Just quickly put Trudy's website address in the comments section. Very quick here. Give me a second. And Eat, Live, and Play. Here we go. Copy. So I'm going to do that. I'm just going to put the website address. I'm not going to say, here's her website. I'll just put it in the comment section.
Okay, cool.
So that's there. And I'll also do it on YouTube again, just for everybody.
Oh, thanks, Michael. That's awesome. Thank you.
Okay. Dawn says her ex-husband is Jamaican Afro-Cuban descent. So there you go. Okay. Let me just see. So again, on the YouTube end, Dawn, some guy named Danny Stone, and hanging out on Periscope, U4Site, Newsfan. Again, big shout out to Fenella Bruce of FKB Media, who brought us Trudy to our wonderful conversation. Daryl W.
Fenella.
Happy work week. I Can Do Dave. That was on the Periscope side. So myself, I am Dr. Vibe, host of the award-winning Dr. Vibe show, 2018 award winner, innovation award winner from the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. If you want to catch replays like this or live conversations like this, these days, come to Get Vocal. But if you want to catch replays are available on my YouTube channel. You go to YouTube, put in the space, DR period space, VIB space, SHOW, and you'll catch almost 500 replays of conversations like this. If you want to catch audio replays of my epic conversations, best thing to do is go to my website, thedrvibeshow.com. You can go to also Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Stitcher Radio, TuneIn Radio, Google Play Music. Selected audio replays are also available at thegoodmanproject.com, WJMS Radio out of New York, and Mile High Radio out of Denver, Colorado. I'm a certified empowerment coach, so if you'd like to get a complimentary session with me, go to the website, go to the top of my website, click on Contact the Dr. Vibe Show, and you can send me an email or send me an audio message right from my website. You can also touch base with me on Twitter at DRVIBESHOW. I'm also a brand ambassador for the only online magazine dedicated to African Americans in food, wine, and travel. The name of the magazine is Cuisine Noir Magazine. The website is cuisinenoirmag.com. If you are a business entrepreneur and you'd like to get some media promotion, I run a service called Getting Media Coverage, where I help businesses and entrepreneurs get media promotion so they can elevate their business, product, or service. So we will leave with these last few things. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Next up, sometimes you have to get smaller to get stronger. Block assumptions. And finally, aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Thank you, everybody, so much. Because we only expected to be on for an hour. We're on for much longer than that. And that's because of you guys. And also,
we're having so much fun.
Yeah. And hello, Anthony, who has just joined in. We're going to shut the conversation down. And my next conversation scheduled, I don't know. That's why you follow me. There's more coming up this week, audio and video wise. God bless, peace be well, and keep the faith. Good night, everybody.
Bye. Thanks, everyone.